Hello, it's Mandu from The Cup Effect here again. I wanted to say a few words about some of the challenges that The Cup Effect faces. There are many, but one of the big ones is the fact that hardly anybody has heard of these things. I think in the UK the figure is something like 10% of women in the UK have heard of them, which is a very small number, of course. And then when you're going to some of the communities I work in Kenya and Malawi, obviously that number falls to very close to 0%. And the first question I get asked after I've explained about menstrual cups and their advantages is, Mandu, if they're so great, why haven't I heard of them before? And the answer to that's quite straightforward. The manufacturers of pads and tampons, all these things here, they make a lot of money out of selling these to women every single month. And frankly, they're not interested in something like a menstrual cup getting more attention. Think about it. If I sell you a menstrual cup, there you go, and you buy it off me, I've lost you as a customer for 10 years. So the profits that the big companies that manufacture pads and tampons, the big profits that they stand to lose are enormous. And what that does is it creates a situation where, menstrual cups are being produced by often quite small manufacturers, but those manufacturers do not have the ability to market their product as aggressively as the likes of Tampax, Kotex, Always, the really big brands. And that is a fundamental, basic reason for why hardly anyone's heard of cups, and these products are maintaining and holding the very dominant position in the market. And because the majority of people who use commercially available products have tried these and trust these, it's quite difficult and quite a challenge to get somebody who might have been using pads or even cloth for 10 years, 15 years, to consider trying something completely different. There's often a suspicion around menstrual cups. What are they? Can we trust them? Can we trust you? And that's why I always tell people that I've used one. I've used one for the last 8 years. Every single period for the last 8 years, me and my menstrual cup get together. And that's one of the things I find that I've got to make sure I put across to people. The last thing I want is people in the communities I serve in Malawi or Kenya to think I'm bringing something that, is for poor people, or, is something that is a great idea for them, but I wouldn't use myself. So that is a big challenge. The thing about building trust is really, really important. In the 1930s, when the first menstrual cup was invented and patented and put on the market, actually one of the major manufacturers of sanitary towels started putting misinformation out about cups, because I think they saw very quickly that a reusable product, especially a reusable product that can last for such a long time, was a massive threat to their business. And so, this may sound a bit silly, but when people ask me, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Mandu, what would success look like? How would you know that you've succeeded with the cup effect? Well, I usually smile and I say, Tampax, Always, Kotex, they're going to have a bounty on my head. They're going to have wanted posters with my name and the cup effect there saying, we need to track down this woman. I'm obviously being a little bit silly, but if all you care about is profits, if that's your primary motive, then menstrual cups are not the best business mission for you. And if all you care about is profit, and a product like this is gaining awareness, then actually you've got an interest in trying to shut it down. I'd like to think that if we can show the great impact menstrual cups have, including on the environment, by the way, a woman will use about 12,000 pads or tampons in the course of her life. 12,000, that's about 150 kgs of waste. That's all got to be thrown to landfill or burnt or ending up polluting the oceans or rivers. With the menstrual cup, we're talking zero solid waste. So they're great for communities, great for society as a whole. Boys, men, whole communities benefit because a lack of reduced waste is great for all of us. So what I would love to see is the big manufacturers actually changing their attitude and realizing, okay, some people will probably always use pads. Some people will probably always use tampons. They can still make money that way. But if an increasing number use menstrual cups, it will be in their interest to create a menstrual cups product line alongside the other products that they use. And I think, I'd rather they're not trying to come after me. I'd rather that doesn't happen. But if further down the line we could find a way to encourage them to actually promote menstrual cups, especially in places where women will benefit and girls would benefit greatly from having the option of using them, I'd be happy. And there's another small angle to this. In Kenya, for example, the government spends 200 million Kenyan shillings a year distributing pads to the most needy schoolgirls. Well, this is one of the challenges, I would like to encourage them or any other governments, especially in low-income countries, to invest in cups instead. Think about it. A pad lasts 6 hours. A menstrual cup lasts 10 years. So if a government is investing in its young girls, the government doesn't have to think solely about profit motive. It can make a decision that supports, gender equality, the well-being of the girls and women in their community, the improved environmental conditions in their community. I'd like to see that happen. It's a challenge to do that because the governments are just as suspicious about menstrual cups as many other people are who haven't yet heard of them. So, we've got a struggle ahead of us. But when I see, the results that we get with the projects we've done so far, when I hear reports directly from the women and girls who've now had a chance to try using a menstrual cup and where it's worked for them, I have no choice but to stick with this. I need to build as many allies as I can and get people on board. I think that if we could raise the profile of this, get more, individuals, but also organizations that have resources to invest, get them aware, get them understanding, we could do something that actually makes a real material difference to millions of girls and women around the world. Millions. I just can't stand it that 45 years since my mother was a young teenager in Malawi, that actually we haven't managed to deal with this problem for our women and for our girls. It drives me crazy. We've put people on the moon. Well, not on me. I wasn't involved in putting people on the moon, of course. But we as human beings, as a human race, have solved problems of such extreme complexity. I don't see why this problem remains unsolved. There's no excuse for it. And the profit motive excuse, the world has moved beyond that now. So I know that we've got an uphill struggle, but I can see just enough on the horizon. I can see that, a different future for so many of our girls is in sight. And I'm not saying it solves all the world's problems, having a menstrual cup, but what it does is it means that periods, which are a natural process, don't have to be a problem. And that frees all of us up to put our resources, put our energy, put our passion into some of the other things. Yeah? I don't know, does that make sense? I think it does. And that's why I get up every morning. Because I believe in this, and I know that if we keep going, we can make an absolutely massive change. All right. Cup effect. That's what it's all about. Okay, let me stop this one now.